Hey everyone, Donald Lowry here, and we've got the Santa Maria Grill right behind us that was built for us by AZ Barbecue Outfitters. The link is in the description below. We're going to do a quick little walkthrough, then we're going to season it and do our first cook today on Backdraft Barbecue. Welcome to Backdraft Barbecue. With your host, Big D. Okay, so I want to give a big shout out to Arizona Barbecue Outfitters for hooking us up with this really cool Tuscan Santa Maria style grill. And so we did opt for the upgraded Argentine style grates. This is the drip pan here, and each one of them, each grill is individual. Right now I have them locked together so that you can either raise the whole thing the same height together, or you can individually set them so that they raise and lower at individual heights in case you're cooking something that you want more heat over here and you want less heat over here. And the way these grills work is they work by controlling the heat by raising and lowering the grill away from the firebox. Now, the Santa Maria grill goes back many, 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 many years, and it has evolved ever since, and it has become a very popular way of cooking barbecue nowadays. But this is a very solid built grill. I can open the chamber here, and that's the firebox there. This slides out, and you can also, if you want to, you can line the bottom with fire grate, which we are going to do eventually, and then you can also pull this out and cook directly on the fire grate. It does have a drain here so that you can see it under there, so that you can clean it out really well, and then lock this back up. It's got you can control your airflow down here as well, and then these two handles here are what is used to raise and lower the grates. So what we're going to do is I'm going to go ahead and we're going to do our seasoning of this. What we're going to do is we're going to start a fire in here. We're going to heat up both chambers with just charcoal. I'm not looking for any kind of big fire or anything. I'm looking for heat. So we're going to coat the grates with oil, and then we're going to get a good fire started, and then we're going to lower the grates down and just let the heat do its work. What we want to do is we want to burn off any residuals that may be, or any contaminants that may be on the in the grill or on the grates. And so it's really important that you do that with any barbecue. Even if you go buy a Weber, you can do the same. You need to do the same thing. Same with cast iron. You need to season your cast iron. Well, you're doing the same thing with a grill. So we're going to get the fire started, and then we will come back in just a moment.
1 hour later.
Okay, so it's been about an hour, and we've burned the grills and got everything, I think, seasoned pretty well. And we've added some wood to the fire, and we're just kind of waiting for things to ash over just a little bit more, so we got a nice, good cooking fire, and then we're going to get this cook started. Okay, in the meantime, we're going to come over here and we're going to season. We're doing pork country style ribs, and we're going to season with the typical Santa Maria style seasoning, and that's the SPG, salt, pepper, and garlic. You can put in there some dry cloves if you'd like, but we're just sticking with the regular standard old salt, pepper, and garlic, and that's all we're going to add to this, other than a little bit of barbecue sauce, and we're going to spritz these down as they cook. Okay, I think the fire is ready. Our grill has been seasoned and our meat has been seasoned, and we're going to go ahead and start adding the meat to the grill. This is going to be a fantastic cook. This is the first cook on this Santa Maria style grill that we had custom built for us by Arizona Barbecue Outfitters, and you can check them out. The link will be in the description below. But we're going to go ahead and add all of this meat onto the grill, and then I think we're going to do some corn and maybe some beans as well. So let's get started with the cook, and this is going to be fun. Now, as you're adding the meat to the grill, you want to make sure that you're leaving a little bit of space in between each piece of meat. You can put them close, but you want to leave a little bit of space so that you can have some of the heat and air and smoke pass through the meat and catch all the sides of the meat as well. So just make sure you don't overcrowd, and make sure you leave a little bit of room between each piece of meat, and that's kind of standard on pretty much any grilling application. I see people crowding the meat on there, putting it one almost right on top of each other, and really you're not getting a good heating and you're not letting enough smoke pass through the meat. So make sure you don't crowd it and give it just a little bit of room in between each piece of meat. Okay, this is where we lower the grates. This is why we have a Santa Maria grill. We're going to lower the grates, get it a little closer to the fire so that we can start cooking this meat. Okay, so we've got a little bit of flare up, which is kind of to be expected. So we went on ahead and raised the meat a little bit off of the fire. And what we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and add our corn. Now, corn on the cob is out of season right now, so we had to go with the little cut ears of corn, which is fine. We're going to go ahead and put those on the grill and let those get going as well. And we've dropped it down again. That's the beauty of this grill, is that you can raise and lower it as you see fit. We're going to go ahead and spritz. I'll tell you what's in the spritz bottle here in just a second. But by design, I made the fire a little hotter on the left side and a little cooler on the right side where the corn is. You can see a little flame there, but most of the heat is on the left side. What's in the spritzing bottle is some homemade barbecue sauce and some apple cider vinegar. And what we're doing is we're just spritzing it down a little bit so that we can keep the meat moist as it's cooking. Okay, and again, my spritzing bottle kind of took a dump on me midway through. And so I'm using a bowl and just adding it that way, just kind of dabbing it on, not really brushing it. You don't really want to brush your meat. You always want to dab any kind of sauces or anything that you're doing. So this is again a little bit of apple cider vinegar with some homemade barbecue sauce mixed in it. again, to try to keep the meat moist as we're cooking it. Also to infuse a nice little bit of flavoring as well into the meat. Okay, through the miracle of time, as the cook has been progressing, you'll see that we've also added the beans into our Dutch oven, and we're cooking that as well. Real simple, just some beans, and we've got some blackstrap molasses in there, a little bit of brown sugar, some mustard, and some onions chopped finely, and we put that on the fire as well. The corn is cooking and the meat is cooking, and we're going to continue to turn and keep on adding the mixture of homemade barbecue sauce and apple cider vinegar, which is really going to give this a good taste. Plus, you're going to have that smoky flavor. Now, in the beginning, you remember all we did was we added salt, pepper, and garlic, because I don't want to use all those onion powders and garlic powders and all that stuff. That just ruins the smoke. You want a nice, good smoke infused flavor with a little hint of barbecue sauce, maybe a little bit of the vinegar in there to help keep it moist. But you're mainly looking for a little bit of salt and pepper, and mainly the smoke. That's what you're trying to achieve with any barbecue, in my opinion, is you want that smoke. Now, we're using oak wood, so we're going to have a nice, good flavor. Oak burns a long time, and it gives a nice, good flavor, and it really has a nice aroma through the neighborhood. Again, just dabbing it on. We've only done this a few times in the entire cook. We don't want to overdo it, because then we don't want to overpower the taste of the fire and the smoke, the char that we're trying to put on this meat. So we're just trying to keep it a little bit moist. Too bad my spritzing bottle took a dump, but that's the way it goes sometimes. And we'll just continue to cook. Okay, we're going to move the beans a little bit so that we can rearrange our corn. But everything seems to be going well. Everything seems to be cooking nice. And so far, this promises to be a pretty good cook. You guys know how to do this stuff. It's real simple, basic barbecue. Alrighty, and again, through the miracle of time, we are now going to go ahead and check the internal temperature of this meat. I like to bring it up, these pork ribs, I'd like to bring them to about 180, 185, somewhere around there. And then when we pull them off, before we cut them, we'll allow them to rest a little bit. They'll continue to climb a little bit in temperature when we pull them off the grill and as they rest. And that should be a really good internal temperature. Should be pretty done all the way through. And then what you'll see on the right side of the grill is I have put a cast iron skillet on there, and I've put some butter in that skillet. And now that we have the corn cooked and we've got some nice char marks on the corn as well, we're going to go ahead and put that inside of the cast iron skillet, and we're going to kind of fry them in butter a little bit, if you will, to kind of infuse that butter into the corn before we serve it. And then as a final gesture, what we'll do is we'll put a little bit of the SPG that we use to season the meat with as well as a final garnish on the corn. So that way we have a nice grilled, butter-infused corn with a nice little finished salt, pepper, and garlic finish on it. And it should just be absolutely fabulous. All right, it's time to pull this meat off the grill. Okay, since our left side is still a little bit hotter, we're going to go ahead and move the corn over there and get that done. Drop it down and get it done so that we can serve this up. And this is also going to help infuse a little bit of smoke flavor into that corn. Man, this is going to be so good.